Hi, welcome back to Oneness. Today is day 19 and we will be looking at verse 19 from Taoteching. And before we begin, let's observe a few seconds of silence. Thank you. So now let's look at verse 19 from Taoteching. Give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. Give up kindness and renounce morality, and people will rediscover filial piety and love. Give up ingenuity and renounce profit, and bandits and thieves will disappear. These three are outward forms alone. They are not sufficient in themselves. It is more important to seize the simplicity, to realize our true nature, to cast off selfishness and temper desire. So clearly this verse 19, it is a kind of a follow-up verse with the previous one, that is verse 18. So even there, Laotzu talked about every single point. Just that in that verse 18, he talked about the consequences, whereas here he advises to renounce all these forms, like renounce the sainthood, wisdom, kindness, morality, ingenuity, and profit. Though when we see it as a first time, like we feel that, what is he talking about? But then when we go to understand the deeper meaning, what he means, and how we should connect with our true nature, then it all will fall in place and make sense. So now let's go line by line and try to understand what Laotzu meant in these lines. Give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. How I see is, there are two important words, sainthood and wisdom. First, let's talk about sainthood. When some people consider themselves religious, they believe that they attain a selfhood just by looking into some text, or by their religious scriptures, or by listening to some gurus and teachers. However, the sainthood is something that when we let go of every single attachment, and that is what the actual sainthood is. Instead of someone telling us we attained sainthood, that is a false. And also, I see that the most of the war within the world, it happens in the name of religion. And if you look at any religion, the core of every religion is same, the spiritual nature, the true love. However, the people fight over the superiority of one religion over the other, and that brings in chaos in this world. That's why even it is better to renounce or give away the sainthood. Then he talks about wisdom. The first problem with the wisdom is, even to a spirituality, if you want to seek spirituality and then if you rely on the textbook based knowledge or some guru based knowledge, what happens is, it is their understanding of it. And the knowledge, the more we acquire, the more it will take us away from our true nature and the true wisdom. And the more and more we learn, the more it confuses. And I'm sure that in your life, you would have gone through experience that one text contradicts the other one. One person saying contradicts the other person saying. That is why it is better to renounce even the wisdom. And that's exactly Moji Baba talks about. Moji says, don't fall to all this trap of some ideologies. Because all this ideology that you learn, it just makes you stuck with some kind of a fixed mindset. And it takes a lot of time to get out of the mindset again. So instead, it is better not to get hooked onto the mindset itself, or not to get hooked onto the wisdom or the knowledge itself. Be neutral. Instead, trust your instincts rather than some text. And that way, you'll be much better guided, is what these words talks about. Then, give up kindness, renounce morality, and people will rediscover filial piety and love. Here he clearly talks about, when he says give up kindness and renounce morality, all he is talking about is Don't act kind or don't act morally. Instead, be kind, be moral. The true inner nature of every single person of us is to be in love. Like, to give instead of just holding it back. And these two lines also connects to me in a way that, which I believe honestly is, there are only two ways to live. One, either accept ourselves as God or accept everyone else as God. So what I mean by accept yourself as God, all I mean is when you hold the highest nature of a God, when you see yourself as a God, you will see yourself with the highest standard. You will no more act selfishly. Instead, you will act selflessly. You no more you want to hold things for you. Rather, you would be giving to people. And you don't see life as a fixed resource. Instead, you will see everything in abundance so that you can give more and more and more to people. Or the other way is see everyone else as God. If you see every human beings and everything, every life form and non-life form as God's creation and the God within them, I'm sure that you will better treat them well. No more that ego will dominate you. Instead, you will be one with everything around you. And that is also, in a way, that's a godly nature that we will show. And that is important according to this verse. And also, when you give up the kindness and morality, he means that the true nature is love. That will come to you. You don't act. Instead, you be kind. So that way, the true love within the family, which is a true nature, is always with you. Then, give up ingenuity, renounce profit, and bandits and thieves will disappear. This is a very obvious thing. So instead of running a company and running a business and looking for more profits, instead look within and ask, how can I be of a service to other people? And the moment you start serving others well, and I'm sure the profit will follow. It is not the other way of kind of creating dissets and malpractice. You make a lot of profits. Instead, give up those things. Focus on how you can be of a service to someone else and how you can make someone else's life better. That way, everything comes to you. And the final lines goes like, these three are outward forms only, and they are not sufficient in themselves. It is more important to see the simplicity, to realize our true nature, to cast off selfishness and temper desire. And these lines are very evident that all the three things that what he talked about as a nature, be it like sainthood and wisdom, kindness and morality, ingenuity and profit, these are all just an outward forms. But when we become selfless, and then when we align ourselves with our true nature, the inner guidance or the inner truth, and automatically what happens is we be more giving to people. That is our true nature, or aligning with Tao. And these words clearly talks about this. We are not saint just because someone said we are a saint. And we are not wise just because we read some books we become wise. And we are not just kind and moral just because that is a standard expected out of us from society. Instead, it is a true nature of us is with all these nature. Just that we have to connect with our true self. And that's what Laotzu means in this verse 19. So with that, now let's talk about the actionable thought for today. During this day, look at your own self. All our actions every day, in some form, it may come from a belief that we hold strongly, or it can come from our true nature. All we have to do is just look at our own behavior. It can be a simple prayer, or when you're learning from a book, or it is being kind and moral to someone, or when you're seeking profit. All these forms, whenever you do these things, just ask within yourself, is this the things that I'm doing? It comes from the belief that I have to act in such certain way which is expected out of me, or am I taking all this decision from my inner truth or inner nature, being one with Tao? So when you ask this question repeatedly, I can tell you, you will feel the inner guidance within you telling you the right way to make all your decisions. And that way, all our life will be wonderful. With that, let's conclude day 19 and talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.